Hey everybody, running a couple of minutes late tonight because we had to wait at the office for somebody to come pick up an order, and then Sasha doesn't want to go to the bathroom like she's supposed to, so that's been fun. So, I'm a little discombobulated, but I'll get there. Alright, so let's do some yoga because I need to stretch my body. Last night I didn't do any and I really felt crappy all night, so shouldn't let that happen again, right? All right, so let's find the nearest wall and we'll do some sun salutations. So let's come into mountain pose, bringing the feet to hip width apart or wider, arms down by your side with your palms open, relax your shoulders. And we're going to try and get through this without Sasha screaming and yelling for me to come get her, but that's probably not going to happen. So on your next inhale, let's take the arms up, interlace your fingers with the index fingers pointing. On the exhale, we're going to bend to the left. Inhale back to center, and exhale, bend to the right. Inhale back to center, separate your hands, soften your knees, and fold forward into your standing forward bend. Oh, that feels so good. Letting your head lead you on the inhale, rise back to standing, hands into your heart, and step to the wall, extend your arms. On the exhale, coming down, kiss is optional. Inhale, coming back up, and then we'll inhale and take the left leg back, adjusting your hands to wherever you need to. Lengthen through your heels. And inhale, coming back up. And on your next inhale, we're going to take the right leg back. And who has joined me? It looks like maybe Mary. Yep. Checking in to see what's going to be on tap for tomorrow. All right. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, walking out into half down dog. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be fun. Huh? Inhale, back up, push away from the wall. On the inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise back to standing, bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra. On the inhale, sweeping your arms out to the side and up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers. On the exhale, we're going to bend to the right. Ooh, stretch it out. Inhale back to center and exhale, bend to the left. Inhale back to center, separate your hands, soften your knees, and fold forward into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Let your head lead you on the inhale, rise back to standing. Hands into your heart, step to the wall. Extend your arms fully. On the exhale, coming down. On the inhale, coming up. Inhale, taking your right leg back this time. Lengthen out through that heel. Inhale, coming back up. And on your next inhale, take your left leg back. Oh, that feels so good. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale, walk out into half down dog. Inhale, coming back up. Push back away from the wall. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise back to standing and bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Then turn back to the top of your mat. Oh, goodness. And let's see. What do I want tonight? Let's go ahead and if you need your blocks for Warrior One or for Pyramid Pose, go ahead and bring them to your mat in front of you. All right, coming back into Mountain Pose. Let's bring the arms down by the side. Relax your shoulders. Really start to root your feet down into the mat, making sure that you've got equal weight on both feet. And breathe. I feel like I haven't done a lot of that breathing today because it was one of those days where like everything went wrong. So tomorrow will be better. On your next inhale, take your arms up, bringing the palms together. On your exhale, soft knees as you fold forward into your standing forward bend. Taking your hands to the backs of your legs, to the blocks, to the mat, or if you prefer to be in half standing forward bend, your hands will go to your shins. Let your head hang down if you're in full standing forward bend. And if you want to, grab hold of opposite elbows and hang heavy or sway side to side in pendulum pose. Feel free to do so. That is, of course, optional. It's your practice. And in my practice, I like pendulum pose. Then we're going to come to a stop. Bring the hands back down to the mat. On the inhale, you're going to take your right leg back, keeping that back heel lifted or setting it slightly down on the mat. Root down into your front foot and rise into warrior one. Bringing the arms up parallel to one another, shoulder width apart, palms are facing each other. Make sure your body's at center, so if you feel like you're running across the room, you'll know that you're not the way you're supposed to be. Just breathe. The knee should be stacked over the ankle, we hope. And then we'll exhale the hands down to the hips, step the back foot in, straighten the front leg. Let's level out the hips, and then we're going to bring the arms down behind us. You can either interlace your fingers or push your palms together like you're holding a beach ball. Lengthen to the floor, those arms, and you can look up to the ceiling or just look straight ahead if you want. But we're opening up the chest, opening up the shoulders. Nice deep breaths. And then we'll look forward to bring the hands back to the hips. On the exhale, we're going to fold halfway. You can stay right here or fold all the way down into pyramid pose. Once you're there, I want you to shift your left hip back. That'll bring your right hip forward. If you need to bend your left knee a little bit, go ahead and do so. And again, you can have your hands to the blocks or the floor. That's up to you. Then on your inhale, we're going to bring the right foot in to join the left. And then we'll inhale and take the left leg back. Make sure that that right knee is stacked over your ankle. Keep your back heel lifted or set it slightly down on the mat. Root down into your front foot and rise up into warrior one. So remember, when we're coming into warrior one, it's more of a balancing pose than warrior two is. So sometimes it can get a little wobbly coming up. Two things to remember. Keep your stance pretty wide, because if it's too narrow, you're gonna wobble. And, see, I'm wobbling because I'm talking. Root down into that front foot. Really push down into it as you start to rise up. That gives you a good connection to your mat, and that should help keep you a little more firm as you're coming up into the pose. Let's exhale the hands down to the hips. Step the back foot in. Straighten the front leg, level the hips out, so I've pulled the right hip back and the left hip has come forward. Hands behind you, lengthen the hands to the floor and look straight ahead or up to the ceiling. And just breathe. Opening up the chest. It feels good to get some deep breaths in. Then we'll look straight ahead, bring the hands back to the hips. On the exhale, you're going to bend halfway. Whoops, lost my balance. You can stay right here or go all the way down to the floor or the blocks with your hands. Then shift your right hip back, your left hip will come forward. And if you need to bend your right knee, go ahead and do so. And then we're going to inhale, stepping the left foot back in to join the right. So we're back in our standing forward bend. I'm going to move the blocks off to the side. Let your head lead you. On the inhale, rise back to standing, hands into your heart, into Anjali Mudra. So for balance tonight, we're going to do standing half-bound lotus. You can use a wall if you need to, or you can just stay on your mat. So find your focal point. Get that breath going. We're going to start on a strong left leg, so make sure that your thigh is engaged. When you're ready, and you can do this with a strap too if you can't reach with your hand. You're going to reach down with your left hand, grabbing hold of your right foot. The sole of the foot is going to be pointed to the ceiling, and let your right knee relax as much as possible towards the floor. Once you're there, you kind of look like a pelican, right? Once you're there, if you want to take your arm up or out to the side or behind your back, wherever you want to go is fine. I actually read somewhere that when pelicans are standing on one foot like that, they're actually asleep. Can you imagine? We can barely do it awake, right? Just breathe and focus. And then, of course, when you're ready, you can release your arm, release your foot, and we'll switch to the other side. Now, engaging the right thigh, making sure that you have that focal point. When you're ready, you're going to reach down with your right hand, take hold of your left foot. Again, the sole of the foot should be pointed toward the ceiling. The knee should be toward the floor as much as possible. And then if you want to take your arm out to the side or behind your back or to the ceiling, that's fine. Just breathe. And then when you're ready, release your arm, release your foot. Shake it out a little bit. Yay. All right. Coming back toward the top of the mat, back in the mountain pose. Let's inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, we're going to fold, bringing the hands to the mat. And then on your next exhale, walk out into downward facing dog. Woof, woof. Get your hips up in the air. Nice deep breaths. You do that little shift of the torso back to your legs or toward your legs. Keep those knees nice and soft. And then we'll exhale down onto our knees. If you need a blanket to cushion your knee or knees, knee in my case, because one hurts and one doesn't, go ahead and get it. And then I'm going to go ahead and take one of my blocks and I'm going to put it down on the low side, and I'm going to put it on the right side of my mat, so y'all know where I'm going. We're going to go into lizard. So then we're going to bring the left leg out to 90 degrees. So make sure that that knee is stacked over your foot. We're going to bring the right hand down to the block, and then I'm going to reach back with my left hand, grab hold of my right foot, and open up my chest to the left. So remember, if your knee starts to splay out to the side, just move your foot closer to the edge of the mat. That'll help. Just opening up the chest. Feels good. And if you can't get your foot up towards your buns, you can always use a strap to do this as well. It would take you a little bit of time, but you could do it. And then we'll release, bring the left leg back in, move the block over to the right, and then bring the right leg out. Make sure that your knee is stacked over your ankle. Left hand goes to the block, right hand reaches back, grabs hold of the foot, and then open up the chest to the right. That just feels luscious. This has become one of my favorite poses. I love this one. You get a stretch in your leg, you get to open up your chest. Now I feel contorted. And then on the exhale, release. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do the magic yoga cube. Hopefully it doesn't come up with a standing pose because we're not going to go back up into standing. let's see. And it came up with what they call crescent pose, which for us is a side stretch, and we did that in our sun salutations, so we're good. No going back to standing. All right, let's go ahead and come back onto all fours, and we're going to either go into child's pose or into happy puppy. So if you want to go into child's pose, keep your toes together, widen those knees out as much as you need to, rest your hips back toward your heels, and you can have your arms out in front or down by your side. Oh, I forgot to bring y'all down. Sorry, I was like, why do I look so high up in the air? That's why, because I didn't bring the camera down to the floor when I came down to the floor. That's better. I'm telling y'all, it's been a day. All right, if you want to go into happy puppy instead, go ahead and keep your buns in the air, bring your arms way out in front. Just let your forehead and chest melt down toward the mat. And breathe. Oh, this feels so good. Oh my goodness. This feels so good that I'm gonna wiggle my butt like a puppy. Like I'm wiggling my tail. Wagging. Because it feels so good. Alright. Stretch. So on the exhale, let's walk the hands back in and we're going to come down to seated. And we're going to extend the left leg onto the mat with the foot flexed. Let's bring the right foot either to the shin or to the inside of the left thigh. Pull your buns out, butt luggage, going on a trip. If you've got to prop up a leg, don't forget to do that. Sit up nice and tall, bring the fingertips out to the floor beside you. On the inhale, we're going to bring the arms up, shoulder width apart, palms facing one another. Lengthen coming out of the waist, and exhale, fold from the top of the thighs. So then you can take your hands either to the outside edges of your foot, to your shins, to the floor, or if you want to use your strap, just make sure it's around the ball of your foot and keep your elbows back by your side because you want to keep your chest open and your shoulders back. Try to keep your back as flat as you can and keep your neck neutral. Neutral, not tucked forward and not jacked back either. So breathe. Head to knee pose. Some people actually call this head of the knee pose, which I always found kind of strange. Because it makes sense, head to knee, because some people can actually get down to their knee. I can sometimes, but not all the time. But head of the knee, that just is weird. One of my many ponderings about the practice of yoga. Keep the breath going. One more deep breath in and exhale out and walk your hands back in. Okay, so I've done this little move, this next move in class a few times, and every time everybody's like, what? So we're going to try it again. Basically what we're going to do is use the feet as kind of kickstands, and we're going to take our bodies up into the air. So if you want to watch first, you can. So I'm going to take my right hand to the mat behind me. My left hand is going to stay loose. This is where the kickstand part comes in. So you've got to push into the side of your right foot and the heel of your left foot. And as you're doing it, you're going to take your left arm up, and that helps with the momentum. So we're going to take the left arm up and stretch. And then exhale back down. So see, it's kind of a little kickstand motion, but usually when you take your arm up like that, it kind of propels you, hopefully. And if you can't do it, don't worry about it. You know, if it's not in your wheelhouse, it's not in your wheelhouse. That's fine. And I don't want anybody hurting themselves trying something just because I say try it. I like to do it. It's fine. All right, let's extend the right leg. Foot is flexed. Bring the left foot to the inside of the thigh. Pull the buns out from under you, going on the second half of the trip. Fingertips out to the floor beside you. Inhale, let's take the arms up, palms facing one another. Lengthen coming out of the waist. And exhale, fold from the top of the thighs. So once again, taking your hands wherever you're comfortable tonight in your practice. And always remembering, always, what I've told you guys for 6 years. Do what you can. Don't worry about the rest. Because this is not about being able to do every single pose or doing it perfect. There's no perfection in yoga. This is about getting the best practice that you can get at any particular time. Some days it's going to be really good. Other days, not so much. It all depends on how your body feels. And some days you're just going to be like, screw it, I'm not doing it. You know? I did that last night. We got home and we had gone for a walk at Cameron. And Ken said, are you going to do yoga? And I was like, no, I don't feel like it. And he said, okay. I paid the price later because I was really not well stretched out. But, you know, oh well. Things you learn. Just breathe. Then we're going to exhale, coming back up. And once again, we're going to use the arm to propel us and the feet as kickstands. So we're going to bring the left hand to the mat behind us. I've got it so that my hand is with my fingers pointing away from my buns. It's not super close into my rear end. It's a little bit further out, but that's going to be personal for everybody. Okay, so then as we start to take the right arm up, we're going to kickstand into the heel of the right foot and the side of the left foot. And then we're up. And this is a really nice stretch for the sides, for the hip, particularly the top hip because it's opening up. And then we're going to exhale and come back down. See? That felt good. And if it didn't feel good, then don't do it. You know, that's my mantra. All right, let's extend both legs. Feet are flexed. Pull the buns out. Bring the hands down beside you. Relax your shoulders. Bend your elbows if you need to. Not everybody needs to. If your arms are a little shorter than mine, then you can probably push into the mat with your arms straight and not have to worry about it. But see what happens to my shoulders? They jerk up into my ears. So I relax my elbows, bend them, and instead of pushing firmly into the mat, I just push gently into the mat. Just sitting in staff pose. Breathing. Now remember, as we prepare to go into seated forward bend, if you need some space, widen those legs out. Not as far as you would go into wide leg seated forward bend, but you can go as far as the width of your mat if you want. All right, on your next inhale, let's take the arms up, shoulder width apart. Breathe, lengthen, exhale, fold. Yes. Relax your shoulders. Keep your back flat. Keep your neck neutral. See, I tend to jack my neck back, whereas quite a few of you tend to go into turtle tuck. But we need to keep the neck neutral, because remember how much the neck starts to weigh once you go forward with it. Then you're carrying almost the equivalent of 50 pounds of weight on the top of your spine. That's why your neck hurts so bad from texting and reading. And I love to read, but I read on my Kindle, so I try to hold it up in front of my face so that I don't have to bend my neck like that. Just keep that breath going. And I can see that Kelly just joined me, I think. I don't have my glasses on. but I think. It just feels so good. I really, truly, and I've thought this for, let's see, I've been doing yoga now for, I'm in year 14. 14, can you believe that? And I've always thought that if everybody could love yoga, the world would be a much happier place, you know? Because it just makes you feel good. I mean, I get it that some people don't like it, but I'm sad that they don't. I wish that everybody could like it, because then I think your body would be happier, your mind would be happier. I don't know what I would do without my yoga practice. I don't even know how I survived all those years without it. All right, on the inhale, we're going to bring the arms out in front of us, straight up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers with the index fingers pointing. Keep your head between your arms. And exhale, we're going to round the back, coming into Mira Dandasana, spine pose. Just breathe. Embrace the shakes. And then we'll inhale, coming back up. Separate your hands, fold forward, and then wiggle your buns out from under you because, you know, they got squinched. Very technical yoga term that I made up. Breathing it out, feeling the muscles lengthen out in the back of your legs. That pleasant tension, not to be confused with pleasant pain. And then we'll exhale, walking the hands back in, and we're going to come down onto our backs. All right, so once we're there, let's bring the feet flat to the mat. And we're going to have them about hip width apart with the ankles under the knees. Arms down by your side, palms flat to the floor. Push into your feet and your hands, lifting your hips into easy bridge. If you want to roll and tuck your shoulders underneath, you can. Release your chin away from your chest and keep your knees hugged into the midline of your body. So you might ask, why would you roll and tuck your shoulders? Well, first of all, most people are not going to do that because it's not going to feel good to them. I do it because it sets me up. First of all, it opens up my chest really nicely, but it also sets me up to go into fish pose with my hands where they need to be. So if you don't roll and tuck your shoulders, which again, most people can't and should not, then when you're ready to go into fish pose, which we're going to do in a minute, you have to kind of manually move your hands into the correct position. Keep those hips up. All right, so we are going to go into fish, so we're going to interlace our thumbs, and on the exhale, we're going to take our buns down onto our arms. So at this point, because I have my shoulders rolled and tucked, my elbows are basically underneath my torso and my forearms. So I'm going to release my thumbs and take my hands flat to the mat. But most of you, because you don't roll and tuck, your elbows are not in the right position. So I'm going to show you what to do in just a minute, or I'm going to tell you what to do. Go ahead and extend your legs onto the mat with the feet pointed. Okay? So now my forearms and my hands are directly under my legs, and my elbows are underneath my torso, kind of at waist level. All right, so we're going to inhale, push into the forearms and the elbows, and look up across the room. Now, if your elbows are not in the right position, because you should be resting on them at this point, go ahead and wiggle them into position if you can. Or you can do that before you inhale and lift up. Then we're going to exhale and take the crown of the head back toward the mat. It does not have to rest on the mat. If the crown of your head is on your mat, it should be very lightly touching the mat. Otherwise, I'm going to keep my crown off of the mat so I can really open my chest. And my shoulders are drawn back. When you're ready to come out, inhale, bring your head back up, release all the way down, and take your arms out to the side. So when you're doing that, it really helps to have your elbows under you. So you might have to practice getting them under you before you inhale and look up across the ring. That way you have that extra push. You're pushing into your forearms and your elbows. I just find it to be super helpful. All right, let's leave the left leg extended. Bring the right knee into the chest. Left hand to that knee and the right arm to the outside of the body. On the exhale, we're going to twist down to the left into revolved abdomen. Keep your shoulders as flat to the mat as possible. Keep your hand either on the knee or on the leg if you can't quite reach your knee. And you can look up or over your right shoulder. But I don't want you to get too tempted to pull that knee all the way down because that's not the point of this stretch. And if you do that, then your upper back and your shoulders are going to come off of the mat and you could actually hurt your right shoulder. So that's why we want to keep the shoulders flat and not twist too far. There's a method to my madness most of the time. Then we'll inhale that knee back up, give it a little tug, extend it onto your mat, and inhale, bring the left knee in, left arm out to the side, right hand to that knee, exhale, twisting down to the right. Once again, adjust your shoulders to keep them flat, and then decide whether you want to look up to the ceiling or over your left shoulder. Keeping that deep breath going. And then we'll inhale the knee up, give it a little tug, bring the other knee back into join where you can do a quick little cradle rock or go into happy baby for a few breaths. Just massaging your back real quick. Feels so good. And I did feel a little rushed tonight because I was late starting and I've got a photography club meeting on Zoom at 7. So as soon as I'm done with this, we have to eat real quick and then I'll have photography club. So I apologize for the shortness of the practice, but sometimes it can't be helped. Then we'll come to a stop, uncross the ankles, and bring your body into Shavasana for rest. Get my glasses down. So go ahead and get whatever props you need. Namaste to you as well, Miss Kelly. You will start when I am done, which will be in 5 minutes. All right, so take your legs out to the width of the mat. Let the feet and ankles roll out to the side of your body. Arms down by your side or on your belly. Close your eyes. Bring your breath back to its natural rhythm. And just rest completely into the mat, focusing on your breath. Let's start to get some movement back into our bodies, coming very gently out of Shavasana. When you're ready, rolling to one side and resting for a breath or two before coming gently back to seated, back into easy pose. Once we're back into Sukhasana, easy pose, let's bring the hands into Anjali Mudra. I didn't have time to get together a final thought for tonight, so I'm just going to call on something that I always think of, and it's a good reminder. So my final thought for tonight is remember to be the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you so much for joining me in my practice, and I hope your practice was just as good as mine. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you Thursday. Love you guys.